Before the video starts, head down below, make sure you like, comment and subscribe. Check out all our socials in the description and hope you enjoy the show. Thank you. Welcome back to the Offbeat Podcast, everybody. Lovely to join you again. How are you, mate?
I'm good, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. So, another special guest here today. Yeah, so we got Leyton Collymore in. How are you, mate?
I'm alright, how are you, lads?
Yeah, we're good. Thanks for coming on, mate.
Anytime, mate. I told you, support you guys, and vice versa, you know, it's much appreciated.
Yeah, definitely.
Doing us a massive favour as well. So,
I'm excited for this one.
yeah, so am I. We've been talking about this because this is totally different to like all our other guests that we've had on so far, which is quite good.
Yeah,
we've got professional athlete on. It's pretty mental when you say it like that, isn't it?
Yeah, it does. You know, you don't think about it. Till you think like obviously, you know, I just see it as my job. Well, not my job, but it's what I do. Do you know what I mean? When people say, "Oh, you're a professional athlete," and I'm like, "Yeah," and they go, "No, you're actually professional," and I'm like. Right, and what, like, people go to Tesco's and shop, like, it's just the same thing as doing that, do you know what I mean? Like, it don't think in my head register that way, but when people say it out loud, you kind of do take it in a little bit differently, yeah.
It's mental, it's mental. Like,
no more Olympics, eh?
no more Olympics. Well,
can you do Olympics as a pro?
I don't think so, can you? It's amateur only.
So, it depends, like, once you've turned pro in boxing in terms of situation, then yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You're a pro boxer. You've got your license. That's it. Do you know what I mean? But you can fight in the Olympics to quite a high age. People think that you're not allowed to be like a certain age. You've got to be young and
right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like young and amateur in that way,
yeah.
but not necessarily. I think if I'm wrong, catch me if I'm wrong, but I think you can fight up to like 38, 39.
Jesus.
Yes, in the Olympics. Yeah, I think I could be wrong on that now. It might have changed, but last time I remember hearing someone saying that you can be in the Olympics to that age. It just depends on you, if you know what I mean. Like if you're starting winning area titles, but like there's different levels to the Olympics. So you've got like your basic amateurs, and then obviously like you'll have like your elite level ones. So obviously you've got to work your way up. Do you know what I mean? So it can take years for some people to get to that. So I can see why the age is so high. It's just obviously then when you turn over, you then hand in your amateur license, and then you say, I'm starting as a pro boxer, and you go through the process of that kind of thing. So yeah, it's very different, two different worlds. Even though it's just boxing, there's two different worlds to it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, both of them are have the pros and cons though. You know.
But we all turned pro anyway. So as soon as after the Olympics, we signed that deal straight away, like Joshua did it.
How old was Joshua when he was in the Olympics? Do you know?
19.
Yeah, he was only young. Boss didn't he?
Got bronze, didn't he?
Yeah. He did really well.
Yeah. So we might as well introduce. So you are a pro boxer, aren't you?
Indeed. Yeah.
Former pro. Is it Muay Thai?
Muay Thai and K1 as well.
Interesting.
Oh really?
Yeah. I saw one of your fights on Muay Thai and I was watching it. I was like, Jesus, just like booting a leg off some guy, and I was like, wow, I do not want to be at the end of that. I do not want to be at the end of that.
Yeah, them days. Well, as I said, they've gone. I still keep my eye on the world, and you know, people still like contact me in terms of it because obviously I was in it for a long time. Do you know what I mean? So. Still get the odd little contact from people saying, I'm sure this is you, and it's like, yeah, it is, you know, but I'm on a new chapter of my life now, and I've gone to the step that I want, but yeah, I did Muay Thai for Muay Thai for how many years now? It was about 12 years.
12 years, Jesus.
12 years it were, yeah.
How come you've switched over to boxing then?
Just always wanted to.
Always wanted to?
Yeah, it was always a goal too, but it's just one of them things, like it was just, when do I go, do you know what I mean, like, I never had a set age or a set date, or it was like at this point, it was just I wanted to do what I could do in that sport, and if there was no way me getting any higher because I was, you know, at the point of top, you know, at the top level, then fair dues, and I'd change and try something new, or there was any other reason why I couldn't carry on, or you know, it wasn't worth it, then that was the change, and it was just like I say, I got to a point in it where I was so high, and then I just had a bit of time out. I ain't gonna lie, like I had one of the busiest years in my last year of fighting in Thai, do you know what I mean? I was one of the busiest guys, but people was like, oh, like, what's ready for next year? And I was like, you know what, I'm just going over and seeing my family, and I'm getting fat for a bit, do you know what I mean? Like, because I'd just been constantly fighting and dieting, do you know what I mean? So it was kind of like a big toss. I just thought, you know what, I'm having a bit of a rest, do you know what I mean? And I had that rest, and I just like, obviously there was loads of other bits inside of it, but just decided that, you know what, like, let's go for it, do you know what I mean? And change over. And then the story started was just from like a good friend of mine. He's another fellow professional boxer. Hopefully I'll try and get him down for you, and I'll get in contact.
Oh, definitely, mate. Yeah.
Oldham lad called Mark Efron, great boxer. Do you know what I mean? Talented. He's not too long ago fought for the British titles and stuff. So you know, top contender. So you know,
Yeah.
it'd be good, you know, for you to have a good chat with him and understand it, because he knows more about boxing game than I do. Do you know what I mean? So you can get more of an in-depth
Yeah.
understanding
definitely.
of it, and that way, do you know what I mean? Especially, so I can definitely get in contact with him. But yeah, he started stemming back into it, just got me running, which was pretty funny at first, because I've been running for like 8 months, gained so many stone, you know what I mean? So it was just like, yeah, great, I'll catch up later, do you know what I mean? One of them ones.
you go, I'm happy with that.
It's like turn right here, turn left here, and yeah, I ended up lost. Bringing him on the mid run, but yeah, and then he just got back into it, and just then, yeah, just started that process, got back in, and then just started training, and then, yeah, it was... That's where we're at now.
Yeah,
It's fine.
I always like it with Paddy the Baddy. I saw an interview of his and he's like, if I wasn't a pro fighter, I'd be like 25 stone. He always says that as soon as because he eats loads and loads, but the amount of exercise he does just carries on. I was thinking, I'd love to be that. Imagine, like, you diet for what? You diet for like 6 months ready for a fight.
Yeah.
Soon as you finish that fight, you just go and get some like mega scran.
You know, essentially, you want to do, but you can't, because you've built it up in your mind. You know, like when the best way to explain it is, you know, like when you're hungry and you lay in bed and you're hungry and you can think of everything you fancy to eat, but then when it comes to like tea time the next day and you want to think of something to have to eat and you can't think.
Yeah.
That's what it's like once you fought. So once you fought, like up before it, the cutting the weight, you're like, oh, I fancy this. You just think about one thing and you can just be obsessed with it for hours, and you think, oh, I fancy this, I really fancy it. But then once you've done the weigh-in and you've had that drink that you wanted and that little bit of a meal, like pasta or something, the next day you're just like, I don't really want anything now. Like you think of that Chinese and you're like, I don't really want it. Or that big takeaway, I don't really want it now. Like it's just it's gone. It's just because you're craving it at that moment and your body just wants all the stuff. You really think about it, but then once you've weighed in and you've fought, the next day you're just like, I might have a takeaway. I don't know if I can be bothered, to be honest. Just pop the kettle on and have a couple of biscuits. You know what I mean? That's about it. You know what I mean? Simple things, but it's weird. I don't know why. Well, that's for me anyway, personally. I don't know if anybody else has a binge, but I have a little takeaway here and after it, but that's inevitable. But yeah, I can never decide. It takes me hours though, because I just don't know what I fancy.
I'm always the same, but you know, trying to order a takeaway. Oh my god, me and Tony are literally there. We just sit and we spend just as long deciding as it takes to get it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, but what about this? Then we decide on one, and then one of us will be like, yeah, but what about Chinese
Sure,
right
you don't
now?
fancy a Chinese?
Yeah, straight away. It always reverts back to Chinese. Always reverts back to the Chinese.
Chinese, it's they've got so much variety though, haven't they? So you can just really have a mix and match, and then you look at it coming and they tell you how much it is, and you're like, great. That's my usual problem. So
You eat for about 4 days as well.
Oh, serious.
I spent, me and Aaliyah got a Chinese the other day, and I spent 32 quid on a takeaway Chinese. I was like,
30 for the 2 of you?
yeah.
No regrets.
No regrets. No, you definitely got the prawn crackers and the free bottle of drink. You got the full package for free. That's when you know you spent too much, when you get prawn crackers and a bottle of drink. You're like, oh, that's bad, you know. I didn't even have to ask for it. They would give it.
Have you ever ordered like a Chinese where they serve it you in like a wooden box rather than a bags? And they bring it in with like a wooden box.
Box that had all the onions in it and stuff.
And you're like, oh Jesus Christ.
From the wholesale, that is joke. No, you do, you know, you realise then that's when you've spent probably a bit too much in, you think, oh no, I'm eating this for a couple of days, isn't it?
Definitely.
Right.
I was looking at a bit of your career then. So you were Muay Thai for 12 years then. So what level were you fighting? Because what you were fighting like a European lad when I was the fight I saw on YouTube. So did you go like European or?
I was full world, so especially towards the end, I was really on the brink of like challenging all world levels. You know what I mean? Like there's a good lad in it now at the moment. He's just won the WBC in Muay Thai. Liam Nolan, great talent to the sport. Do you know what I mean? And he's an amazing lad. Me and him have seen each other since the beginning. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we fought twice. Fought when we was both amateurs, and when we fought when we was both professionals. Do you know what I mean? But besides it, we've always been good pals. And he's an amazing talent. He's just won something that offered an opponent that has not been beat for a very long time. Do you know what I mean? So it's been a big thing over in the title. Like I say, I still keep my eye on it a little bit. But like it just stemmed from going training one time for a bit of fitness, and just turned over from then. And then it was just a bit of a mad story. Like, to be honest, when I tell you how long I've been doing it for, it's just like you don't realise it. To be honest, it's kind of like I started at 12 and just.
It's not a job, bro. It's a hobby.
Yeah, it's a hobby then.
It's like when you see all these pro athletes and you're like, oh, getting to that level, but they're always the hardest working because they're not working. They're just. It's like you, because Dan's a DJ, so it's your hobby.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all you do.
Exactly.
You just literally just have a laugh. every single weekend. Just play whatever you want, however you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Do that.
I've got a question for you. With your Muay Thai, is it Muay Thai? Is that how you say it?
Muay Thai. Yeah, you can say Thai boxing, Muay Thai.
Yeah.
And everyone has their own little ways of twisting it.
If you were approached now, like the best fighter in the world, and said, "Fight me in 6 months," would you take it?
That's a good question. There's a lot to go into it.
Yeah.
For me personally, now, like, I think because of like all the sacrifice I've had to do these past 2 years of doing my boxing license and that, with it being so long, and and obviously forking out financially for that, there's a lot that go into it. So would it be worth it? And I think as much as I'd love to go back to that and attack that chapter again and finally get to that point where I wanted that, because I was literally on the brink of that point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just a page that's turned over. I've done and dusted with it. Do you know what I mean? And I think if I was to think like that, then I would never fully give myself 100% to boxing.
Yeah.
You don't want to look behind you. You want to look forward, don't you?
Yeah.
You want to go for, say, the world title now in boxing. You want to go there.
It's a lot more worth it, let's just say.
Yeah.
There's people in Thai boxing that are multiple world champions and still working their day-to-day jobs.
Yeah.
You look at boxing, you tell me a boxer that's world champion and is working his day-to-day job.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that says it all. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that, primarily I do it just for money, but damn right, it's a big part of it. Do you know what I mean? We all do something to get better at something and to be more well off. Do you know what I mean? We don't want to be living constantly questioning everything. So if I can put so many years of my life into something to where I can enjoy the rest of my life and not have to worry about a single penny, then damn right, I'll try and make as much money as I can. Do you know what I mean? As well as use a talent that I have for it. So that's why I always see it as, you know what I mean? People go, "Oh, you're money orientated." No, I'm not. Like, I could go and fight and not get a single penny if it pushes me to where I want to be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
That doesn't bother me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I spent more money now just getting my boxing license than I'm made up to yet, and I'm scheduled for my second fight. People go, "Well, that's mad," and it won't probably make it back until another 2 more fights. Probably. Do you know what I mean? And people are like, "Wow, like you really have to put a lot into just to getting back," and it's like, yeah, but hopefully. It
will make that pay off.
Yeah.
Well, that's where the sponsors come in. The sponsors are a big part of the sporting mode, isn't it? So that's where the sponsors come in, give you that little boost and help you out there.
Yeah, 100%. Sponsors, without sponsors, and just not necessarily, I wouldn't even say sponsors, but support.
Yeah, definitely.
It's support as an overall, like, because obviously sponsors are great. Without them people, some things won't be possible. You know what I mean? Some sponsors, they financially support you. Some support your social media side. Some of it are just support in general. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, I have like food sponsor, as you know, Kyle, he's my photographer sponsor. So social media side, I'm getting material that stands out to people. Do you know what I mean? Not just putting a picture on that looks a little bit.
The good pictures as
well.
well.
He's a very good lad. He's talented. Yes, he's an
very
amazing lad.
Very good.
I love that lad. You know what I mean? He's an amazing lad. So do you know what I mean? Like, just little things like that for boxers. Like, material is great. It doesn't even have to be on the point, but just people like the average person that will be coming down a feed and a video clip will be on just someone hitting pads, but if it's done right, it'll catch your eye and you'll watch it and go, oh, even if you don't know nothing about it, oh, that looks decent. Do you know what I mean? And if you're into videoing, it draws people in that way, and then, do you know what I mean? And it draws a lot of people in different crowds, and you don't realise that sponsors, they do a lot more than they realise, and sometimes you don't need to get a lot of things off them. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have sponsors that I don't really get a lot of things off them, but it's the little things that can make a difference. Do you know what I mean? You don't need to be getting £2,000 a month off them so you don't have to work. Do you know what I mean? Like, granted, we'd all love that. Do you know what I mean? Because then I wouldn't have to work, but it just depends on your situation and scenario. Do you know what I mean? But they could, like I have another one that's a food sponsor, Refuel. They give me my meal every day. Do you know what I mean? So I finish training, and my first thing to do is go and get my dinner.
That's
my nice
dream.
Yeah, so
that is a dream. I was like,
it's a simple.
So do they like batch make it for you? And you just
so like
bang it in the microwave or bang it in the
No,
oven?
so I go every day. Funnily enough, so like that's my routine. Like, I get up, go training, go and get my dinner, and then get home, sort what I need to sort, and then put them off to work. That's my routine. 5 days a week, pretty much. You know what I mean? So that's what I do. So like, they'll be waiting for me to get there at finish training at 12, so probably bound about 1ish, just after 1, get there, cook it fresh, it's always fresh, and then get home, eat that straight away because I'm starving, do you know what I mean? Yeah. And then I think, oh damn, I've not got much time anyway, I've got an hour before work, so I've got to get started and go for work. But it's just a set routine that I'm in now, do you know what I mean? But as you know, routines are essential in general life, do you know what I mean? If you don't have a routine, it's not helpful. And like, I train every morning, so for me, that's my step right after training. Go and get my food, then get ready for work. Do you know what I mean? And that's it just helps me stay on track. Do you know what I mean? It can get a bit boring, but
it's going to help stay motivated as well. Because at the end of the day, you're thinking ahead. You're thinking to that next fight. You're thinking to that next opportunity, that next title fight.
You never know when it could be. The door.
Yeah, you never know.
No, 100%.
Never know, Matchroom could come knocking on your door next week. Who knows? You never know, do you?
Yeah, you never know.
So it's sometimes. Is there a lot of networking that goes on in boxing world then?
Yeah. So like, there's a lot of networking, but it's also like respect as well. So like my coach Joe Pennington, he's very well known in the world boxing industry for like many reasons. One, because of like the amateurs back in the day. Northside was known for the great amateurs and up and coming ones, and not only that, but then like he has well known journeyman boxers, which are some of the very best in the world in in terms of journeymen, and then also for his prospects. You know what I mean? He's had fellow champions under the Northside gym, Commonwealth champions, Craig Watson and stuff. So he's got a pedigree. So when he comes and he rings their phone, it's not just someone ringing trying to pester him. He's ringing because they need, and obviously vice versa. If he's ringing his phone, he knows he's going to get something with pedigree, whether it's like I say a prospect boxer or a journeyman or an ex-up-and-coming amateur. They know that they've got that connection, and he's been in the game for years. Well, he's had the boxing gym for 25 years, just over. Do you know what I mean? And then himself being a boxer. Do you know what I mean? He's been to the sport a long time and credited, and he's well respected. So I think it depends on your connections as well. Do you know what I mean? Like having the right team and management. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, a lot of it does go down to your own self. Do you know what I mean? You can have the best team in the world, but if you're not putting it in yourself and you're not giving it 100%, then doesn't matter what you have in terms of team wise. It's yourself. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to be a balance between. Do you know what I mean? And work between with your manager and show worthy, and then hopefully then the door will be knocked and your time will be to shine. Do you know what I mean? And that's what you got to wait for and just keep going for.
It's all about being ready, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's the type of like your turnaround? Say if you were to get offered loads of fights, what's like the quickest you go from fight to fight?
It depends. Like, I think for my case, I think now it's just getting like knocking the cobwebs off in fighting, because I've done so much fighting. Like I say in Thai, amateur, I had 22 fights, 21 wins, and I can't remember stoppage. I think it's either 15 or 16, something like that. One loss, and the professional was 36. 35 wins. And
that's a lot of fights at a young age as well.
Yeah,
a lot of wins as well.
Yeah, well, you turned pro at 16, didn't you?
Yeah.
16 years old, you turned pro.
29-year-old man it was as well.
Wow.
Not gonna lie, I fully like shit a brick. I ain't gonna lie. I'll be straight honest. Like, yeah, it was so funny. That was actually a great experience. It was in Liverpool. My first pro fight, C class. It were because like in Thai you have like classes. So N class is amateur, which is padding, 10-ounce gloves on, and sometimes bodyguard. If not bodyguard, it'd be maybe a head guard, depending what show you're on. And then it goes C class, which is no shin pads. So you'll have to kick to the head, and you'll have your usual 10-ounce or 8-ounce gloves on, whichever weight, but like no knees to the head or no elbows. Then B is knees to the head, and then A is then at full Thai rules, which is elbows, knees. You'll have to do it all. So like it's classes.
No one's bad really, isn't it? Hurt the other guy, get him down, and then we'll see.
No, for that. So obviously, like I remember actually, it was a funny time. I was meant to be fighting a week or so, like 2 weeks before. I was training for that, and then the fight got pulled out. And then I remember my coach telling me, "Oh, you got to fight, like now for the week after in Liverpool, blah blah blah." The other catch is it's your first professional bout. It's C class now. Obviously, I'd not long just turned 16. I'm thinking, oh great, That's savage, do you know what I mean? Like, if if ready. The only main worry everyone asks is, well, did you worry about your shins, like, being ready for it? And I was like, to be honest, yeah. Because the week before, Anderson Silva snapped his shin. Like,
I remember that.
Anderson Silva, that's how I guess. So, like, it was not too long before Anderson Silva slapped his shin, and I remember watching the fight and going, he's been fighting. Snapped his shin.
He's a veteran.
My little butter shins are going to come in here and kick someone now, and I'm thinking, oh no, getting all myself worked up at first. I remember, and I got there, and yeah, it was a great experience. Went in there and stopped him in the third round. What was his name? Carl Etchels, he was called, a lad. A lovely lad, actually. I've seen him, I say not too long ago. I'm losing track of years and days now, but probably a good few years back. Came in my work and got some food, and I just looked at him and I was like, I recognise your face from somewhere. Yeah. And he was like, you're the kid that I had my last fight with, and I was like, oh gosh, I feel
I recognised when he was on the canvas.
He come to me and he told me sounds mean now. I broke like quite a few of his ribs. He was in a lot of pain for weeks, and I couldn't work or nothing for about a month after. I was like, oh, sorry, mate. I didn't mean that. And he was like, well, no, it's a fighting game. It's part of the parcel of it. But, he's a lovely lad. I've not seen him in years. I wonder what he's up to. But, and then, like I say, the rest was history. Then I thought, I think it was like 2 months after that, and then I just started fighting, and I just took every fight I could. Like, I got a call, Leyton, you got a fight in 2 weeks or you got a fight in a week. Took it and went and done it, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
of course.
At that time, at the age of 16 and up to 18, you're not really worrying about your bills as much, you know what I mean? You're still at college or, you know, moving to uni, you know, like going to uni and stuff, do you know what I mean? So you didn't really have to worry about finance. So I was getting like, it doesn't sound that much now, but like, you know, 300-400 quid every month, do you know what I mean? Extra on my actual just life, do you know what I mean? I was like, oh, jeez,
when you're in college, you're like, yes, that's
what I mean. You know, and I like my shoes and clothes, so it kind of went, yes, I went back
how many
out.
Subways can I buy with that?
Yeah, it was definitely one of them ones. Or the market Chinese, getting that Chinese sausage. I admit, I like my food, but no, it was great. It was great, but like I could say, you know, it was at the time. It was just I just took everything I could, but I think that did me a lot of favour. Do you know what I mean? Like,
definitely, yeah.
Because by the time, like 2 years in of doing pro fighting, I was fighting people that had been doing it for 6 years professional. Do you know what I mean? And I'd like nowhere near the same fights, but I just fought everyone I needed to, and it was like, right, now you got to prove yourself. And then from the ages of 18 to like 21, I was just fighting everyone in my rankings and just popping my way up. And
just your way up, don't you?
Yeah, and it was just like at the end, like I say, I got to like, what was it, UK number 2, 3, something like that. And then I know I was meant to fight UK number 1, but then there was just loads of politics and all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so then it was just like one of them, and then that's why I say, got to the point where it was just, I want either these fights or it's not worth it, do you know what I mean? And like I've been brought up into the mindset of, I could fight someone and I know I'll beat them and it'd be an easy fight and it'd be a win on my record and added to it, but I'd rather get in there with someone that I know I could possibly lose to, and if I did lose, it'd be more earned from the win.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd rather gain the experience than gain the extra mark on my record, do you know what I mean? If it's not worthy of being on it, then what's the point? Do you know what I mean? I'd rather them say, well, you know what, he fought 10 guys and he's lost 8 to them, but they've all been having opponents, you know what I mean? Kind of thing.
They've all gone on to bigger and better things, you can see right there.
And it's like with anything, innit, really, if you relate it to football, do you know what I mean? Like, if you was playing on a team and you was playing a professional team and you was only semi-pro, it's like, well, we lost to a team that, do you know what I mean? They've got a better setup, do you know what I mean? Than if you went against someone that was a Sunday League pub team and it was someone's dad in goal, do you know what I mean? Alan stood there just with his brew on the side of the goalpost, do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? With 2 odd gloves on backwards, do you know what I mean? Like, you can say, well, you know what, right, lads, we've won to a team, but really, do you know what I mean? Was it a win? We've just come and had a kick about, do you know what I mean? And that's just always a mindset I've had. I'd rather lose to someone good than win to someone that's not worth. You know what I mean? It's not worth.
It'll take you further though, won't it?
That's what I'm saying.
It's no fear. It's that's getting straight in there, doing the job. Even if I lose, doesn't matter. I'm going to come back from it even better.
100%. That's what I mean. So that's how my mindset were. And at the time, like I say, there was a few complications and that with it all. And in the end, I just said, look, right, well, I'm just going to have a rest and just see what my mind says at the moment and just enjoy my time for a few months off. Well, started as a few months. Do you know what I mean? But ended up being like 6, 7, well, no, it was about 7 months it were. And then, I just decided to make the change. I just thought, you know what, now is the point. I got to a point where I was just going to fights, and like my last one was in Germany against their number 1 in the 71 bracket. Leo Bonner, I can never pronounce his second name, I apologise, Leo. He's a lovely lad, and I still see bits of him now, not fought too long ago. And I just remember going over there, and Germany is an amazing place. I love Germany. Germany's an amazing place, love the place, and the crowds, and I'd finished the fight, and in myself, I knew that I just enjoyed it too much, but then it was just like didn't challenge my mind, you know what I mean? I didn't think, you know what, like, at any moment, I need to be careful, do you know what I mean? I was just having fun too much, and I was not taking it as serious, and I think that's when I started to think, well, you know what, now I need to either get something where it's making me think now that I'm going in there now with someone that's gonna go and finger me, do you know what I mean? Like, obviously Leo was a big test, it was number 1 in Germany, do you know what I mean? And in his weight brackets, it was like, well, let's see how we're doing. I went in and enjoyed the moment, come out with no nicks and grazes, and it was like, well, here we go then, let's go for the fingers. And then, like I say, politics and it all, I just said, well, you know what then, if it's not that, then I don't mind resetting myself and having to go at a new challenge and what I've wanted maybe to do in the time. Maybe now this is the time for it, and I just turned over and started this page now, and that's how I'm at boxing. But Thai's been a road.
When you first started with the Thai fighting, and your first fight, you said you were fighting a 29-year-old.
Yeah.
How did like your family and friends like react to that?
Well, we didn't know he was 29. This is the funny thing. We didn't know he was 29. Like, we knew he was a bit older, like 21. That's what we got told. It was like literally like a couple of days before we got told. It's about 21. So I'm like, well, I'm not 16, but I was pretty tall for my age at 16, and you know, wasn't a small lad. So obviously, I think I looked a lot older, even though I had no beard, I was baby faced and all that. Do you know what I mean? Like I looked a little bit thingy, but no, yeah, they told mums, your mum's like, worried about everything.
Yeah,
Mum's worried about everything anyway. So she's like, oh my God, you're gonna be okay? I'm like, well, we're gonna find out on the day. But dad's just like, dad's in it, you'll be fine. Don't worry, you just get in there, do your job. You'll be fine. So I was like, yeah, cheers, dad.
It's the difference between dad and mum.
Dads are just like, you'll be fine. Dads have got that mentality. Do you know what I mean? Me and my dad are very close anyway. With like I say, I used to do football before even any fighting sports. I was originally, my dad was a footballer, my granddad was a footballer, so like it was in line for me to be a footballer. Did it, and then I enjoyed it. Do you know what I mean? And I really enjoy football. I can't lie. It was just then, like I say, politics in that. It was just different world. I thought it's not worth it for me. And then I just started tired of fitness. That was it. Mum's friend was like, oh, come to fitness. Couldn't skip. Couldn't do nothing. Literally, it was garbage. Do you know what I mean? And then that's how it stemmed. But yeah, like my mum and dad, that first fight, there was two very different people. But then the best of it was on the night we had a person supporting me in my group, like supporting me, and I can't remember if it was like his sister or something was with one of his one of his family members, so they knew of him.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, he's not 21. Like, he was 26, and that was a couple of years ago. And I was like, I mean, it's a couple of years ago. So the couple was like at least 2 years, and they were like, well, yeah, like 2000 something. They found a picture of them together, and he was like, oh, yeah, that was like 3 years ago. So I said, so if he was 26 then, he's now 29. So it ended up being from 21 to 29. So he gained like, how many years of age before I even fought him. So I was like, oh great, still 16 me, not changing age, you know what I mean? But it was funny after when I finished fighting, he was like, oh, would you, and having a chat, and I was like, yeah, just 16, just me. And he was like, no, you're not 16. I was like, yeah, I've like actually got a passport, I have a passport.
I'm gonna have it, pal.
I think he felt a bit bad after that, bless him, but that's just the way it is, you know what I mean? They must have, my coach seen I was ready and seen something, and that's why I had faith in him. Do you know what I mean? You've got to have faith in your coach. If they believe in you and know that you're ready, because you can see, you know yourself when you're ready and not, but your coach see you on an external point of view and they can see it all at a different angle, and he believed in me, and look how it's shown, you know what I mean? And like I said, then the rest was history. I just had a few C-class fights, then moved straight to B, and then straight to A after that, and just fought everyone and fought all over kind of thing really. So I had a good time, just made a bit of money, had fun. And then,
doing a hobby, innit? Shall we quick break, boys?
Quick break.
We've done like 26, 27 minutes. It flies by, doesn't it?
It does.
We always say this, it flies by. Yeah, we'll come back for part two. We'll dive a bit more into like the boxing, the ins and outs.
And we've got to ask the age-old hypothetical question.
We've got a few hypothetical questions where we just piss them out.
Let's go.
And of course, we need to talk about Manchester United, don't we, guys?
Right, yeah.
See you.
Break.
See you part two.
The great thing is, it's give you great experiences, things that I'll never forget. Sometimes it's not like the money or anything like that. It's just the experience of being there and just enjoying the whole thing. Like even some of the bad experiences of it. Do you know what I mean? Like being in Germany, being in a sauna for like 2 hours, 3 hours. You know what I mean? And literally surviving on sweets and lollipops just to keep myself salivating. Do you know what I mean? And coming out with bloodshot red eyes, which when people don't understand like the cutting side of the sport. Do you know what I mean? Like people have been watching the MMA documentary. Where it's that guy.
Yes, I've seen the cutting. That's mental. Yeah. You're sitting in a sauna for about like 45 minutes every single hour, and you're just like, Jesus, that looks painful.
Why do they do that?
So to get rid of all the water weight, mate.
Oh really?
Yes, to get rid of all your water weight so you can cut and make the fight. Because if you're so you fought at 71, did you say?
I fought quite a big bracket.
Yeah.
From 66 kilos to 75, I fought.
So I bet when you went to fight on say 75 kilo, I bet when you fought that night you were at least 80 kilo or something like that. So,
nah, to be honest,
did you
at
ever
that
put
time
it straight
I used
on?
to just rock around 72 kilos, 70 to 72. At that time I was a little bit slimmer, so I used to fight, my main fight weight was like 69 kilos, I'd say 68 and a half.
Yeah.
If you want to be a bit picky and drop me into the bracket below, do you know what I mean? But like there was camps where I had a camp where it was for 6 weeks, which entire 6 week camp is rare. Like for a proper show, it's rare. It's usually 2 weeks. It's just literally sweatsuit shit on, look like a Michelin man for 2 weeks, and then go and fight. And that was at 66. No, we didn't. It was on my 18th birthday that actually. Because I remember, Red Hot World Buffet in Manchester.
Yes, yeah.
The day before my weigh-in, I would celebrate my birthday, and I had got me a WBC cake, and everyone's there scranning it and all you can eat, and I'm there with just some lettuce. Everyone's all you can eat. They didn't even charge me because they knew I wasn't eating that much. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't even charge. And I was sat there, and then I thought, I've got to make this 66 kilo, which is, it was a cut for me. I was like, oh no. Got there, weighed in at 64 and a half. I was well pissed off. I couldn't have had a slice of fucking cake. I was so pissed off, and it was the lightest I've ever weighed, and that was 18. And then obviously, I fought all the way up to 74 and a half kilos. It were one, and I weighed in at like 72. Just like sweet. It's just one of them. It's just an experience. You've got to do it the right way. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Don't get in there with someone at 75 kilos but cut from 95. Do you know what I mean? Drop 20 kilos and he's built like a brick shit house. You know what I mean? You kind of weigh up and go, wait, can I get away with this one? Or, is he really a natural 75 kilo fighter? Well, no, he's not. He's usually under 70 ideally. So I know he's just carrying fat and a bit of water. If he's had a bad camp, use it to your advantage. Well, I know he's used a bad camp, so I know he's not that fit. And then go in there. And that's what happened in one of the fights on my YouTube against Marcel. I weighed in at 68 and a half. It was for his title, actually, Royal British title. And I weighed in at 68 and a half, just under, I think it was 68.2 something. And he weighed in at 73 and a half kilos. It was so funny. We was in the car on the way down, and they rang us. Like, oh, how far are you? Blah, blah, blah. Marcel's just in the sauna at the moment because he's weighed in heavy, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, oh, right, sweet. But we'd literally just got to London.
Yeah.
So they was thinking that we were just going to go off. Scrap the fight, then I'm not fighting. That's what usually people do. So I said, no, let me get there and let me just see the situation. So we got to this village hotel in Watford, and I'm there, stood there, and I could see it on him, just carrying fluid, and he's just, been in and out the sauna. I was on weight, I knew. I just travelled down, I was already on weight. Yeah. So I got there, I said, no, it's fine. So they're looking at me.
I like working.
But his coach was not happy because he went in the sauna and he was 73 before he went in, and he come out and he was 73 and a half. He's like, how the hell have you gained half a kilo going into the sauna? So
what are you doing in the sauna, mate?
That's what I mean. So he was like, in the end, I think he realised he would try to sabotage it so much that I would go no.
Yeah.
So I was like, nah, it's fine. We'll go with it. So he was like, well, what's the catch then? Because there's got to be a rule and catch for missing the weight. So he was like, right, well, what we'll do is we'll give you half of his purse. So you'll have yours and half of his. If he wins, the title still goes vacant. No one will get it. It's just it'll be presented as vacant.
If you win, you look unbelievable.
If you win, you get the title. So I was like, alright, sweet. Took 60, 70 people down to Watford on a short notice. Well, not short, I'd say not short. It was a good camp. It was a 4-week camp. Do you know what I mean? In Watford as well, in his own town. Yeah. 60 odd people. It was pretty loud in this venue. So went in there and stopped him in the third round. Just
nice, better feeling out of that.
Yeah, it was alright. We knew what he was going to do. First round, he was going to come out and try and stop me early because I knew he wouldn't want to go later rounds because that's when. My style is I got warmed up later into the round.
Yeah.
First round I was just cold. I'd just stand there, just watch him learn and pick the spots and learn the bad habits. And then before he knew it, round 2 I'd be picking him off, and in round 3 I'd be warmed up then. And then it's just I'd get to my gears.
His head off.
And that's how it was. In first round, it's on YouTube. The first round he's got all geared up and he's going for it. He's whacking him. I was coming out for it. So I'm just enjoying the ride, just keeping myself there, always in the fight. Round 2 again, he tried to come out strong, so I thought, let's just dink him a little bit, slow him down. And then round 3 I thought, let's just give him a bit of a beating now in round 3, see if he comes in with a bit of game. And round 3 it got stopped, and it was great.
You seem just by listening to you, very tactical about how you fight, aren't you? I'm guessing. So when you do your training, so obviously you train Monday to Friday, don't you? Yeah. How much of that time is spent actually analysing the other opponent or analysing their...
Not that much, to be honest.
Really? Is it more like, so are you quite a good thinking on your feet? Like, if you're in a fight, not with me, but with someone opposite you, how long do you just take you one round before you can be like, look, he's throwing his left-hand jab, he's leaving himself open?
Yeah, so there's different types of fighters. So you're like, if you watch fighting and you really watch fighting, not just watch it because usual one, AJ's fighting and he's fit, so I fancy him. And I'm watch them kind of watches.
Describe it.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're doing it like that, then you're not really going to watch the sport. But if you actually watch actual fighting, there's different types of fighters. You've got your brawlers, your technicians. Yes. Your brawlers will be the ones that are just stand there and toe to toe and take a whack, hit a whack.
You Deontay Wilders who are just going to stand there and going to try and knock your head off.
Then you've got your tacticians, your Vasily Lomachenko, your Usyk tacticians. They fight smart. They don't take shots. They don't need to. They just work the fight. And you know what I mean? You've got different types, and with them fighting styles comes traits. So your tacticians tend to be ones that will work and break down things. So I used to like, I never used to do it at first. Used to just be go in there, take them out. That's why I had so many stoppages, because this is go in there, whack them hard. No, not whack them hard, like knocking them out, like. But I'd go in there, take a few shots, and boom, 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 and then before you know it, that's how it works. You know what I mean? And that's all I used to ever think was just break them down, take them out, break them down, get them out. And then it was like when my dad just came to me and said, look, usually like in sparring, I'd be going sparring, I'd be just playing about with people and just breaking them down by just picking funny shots and just like these shots on sore spots. And he'd be like, why don't you do that when you fight? And I was like, I don't know, just go in there and get them out, Dad, do you know what I mean? Or get home, you know what I mean? He's like, no, enjoy it, do you know what I mean? Show you, your skills and stuff. So I was like, right. And then as I got older, I learned to apply that into my fighting more, and actually, not just doing it in the gym. And how I seen things was I analysed the fighter. So the first round, I would pick up everything bad out they do. Yeah. Even it's down to like they blink 3 times before they went to throw a right hand. Like it'd be that little noticing little points. You know what I mean? It wouldn't just be. Yeah,
it's like psychology, that, isn't it? Really, there's a lot of psychology involved in that.
It was like that with the Marcel fight. You come out and he was like, "How do you know what I was just going to do next? And how do you know I was going to do this? Because you did this before it." Your body naturally does certain things before it does it. Do you know what I mean? Like it might be before you take a free kick, you'll do a little step. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you're preparing yourself because you're doing that same repetition drill. Do you know what I mean? And it's the same with anything you do. Like with golf, football, you do a repetition thing. I have it probably to a certain degree. I'm not going to lie. There'll probably be someone that see what I do.
Yeah.
That's just natural, but obviously if you can use it and utilise it, then damn right I'm going to do it.
Definitely, of course you are.
If I can see them little indicators before you throw a big shot that I want to avoid, it's your money shot, then damn right I'm going to utilise it and take it out. And then before they know it, they come round 2 and they're like, I don't know what to throw now because he's picked all my best shots. And every time I'm trying to do something, he's pre-guessing me, and then I was like, well, no, it's not. You're just showing me. Yeah. It's like you're holding up a card earlier here and going, here you go, I'm going to do this next. Now, do you know what I mean? Well, no, I'm going to pick you off at this point, and then you're going to have to restart yourself, and then before you know it, 3 minutes is gone, and it's a round 1 to me. And that's just how
it's so interesting. It's very good way. It's the same with like in football when you have your goalkeepers. So like Ben Foster. He's big on his YouTube at the moment. He does the vlogs, if you ever watch him. They're really good. And when he was in Championship, he used to film it. I mean, he went up to one of them at the end. It was a striker, take a penalty on him, and he saved it. And the striker came up to him and was like, how do you know I was going left? I've gone right 7 out of 10 times. And he said something like, so when you start your run up, you start it with your left foot. You always start with your right foot when you go left. And he was like, I just knew instantly straight away. And I was like, the amount of timing, like it's the tiniest difference, but that's what makes a pro athlete. That's what makes you not good, it makes you great, doesn't it? It's that getting to that next level.
You've got to do. Obviously you can go in and knock everybody out and win away, but then it's sooner or later someone's
going to come, And
perfect example with Deontay Wilder, do you know what I mean? I think he's an amazing fighter, or should we say, boxer in terms of it. No, he can improve his boxing side, but in terms of a fighter, he's an amazing one. But it's shown when he goes against someone that was a technician, someone that has got a bit of half a brain, someone that thinks, well, yeah, I've got to punch you, but I can punch you smartly. Do you know what I mean? And it's shown, do you know what I mean? Obviously the last fight was, was a bit of a mad one, but it just shows the difference in style, and you can see it then when you explain to people, they kind of then understand that, the boxing is not just get in there, put a pair of gloves on, and let's just whack each other till we blood and gory. Do you know what I mean? It's like, no, it's actually a game of chess.
Yes. Oh yeah, definitely. It's all about it's all about tactics, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Well, it's just you two in a ring, isn't it? Like there's no other outside factors. It's just you and him surrounded by ropes. And that's all it is. It's just
and a little man to split you up with his leg every so often. Break up. That's it. Yeah, it's mad.
What division are you in then? What weight class?
Middleweight. Well, last one I fought I was like super middle because it was coming down in weight. Like I say, getting back into it in the finger. So it was my first one was at 12 stone, but like this next one hopefully is at 11.8.
Right. Okay.
So it's like top end, super middle. The brackets are a bit weird, you know what I mean? So it's like top end. So then obviously I'll be bang on middleweight, and that'll be my competition weight then, full title challenging weight. Hopefully that'll be my division. But like I say, I'm not too shy to go up in weight. If I can go lower in weight, even better. Do you know what I mean? I'll take either way. Do you know what I mean? If it's physically right for me, I'll go and drop down, do you know what I mean? If I can, obviously, like I say, speaking, when you're having the right team, they'll understand and see. But yeah, definitely, I'm not too shy to try and be a multiple division. That's a good goal to go for, isn't it?
That's what you want, isn't it? That's what you want. Yeah. Getting in there, it's like Canelo, people like Usyk's just come up into heavyweight and just destroyed Anthony Joshua.
Yep.
Mental, innit?
I want to see him against Tyson Fury, mate.
I think that'll be a great fight. Well, Tyson Fury wants to fight Joshua, doesn't he? Yeah. He came out on Instagram and was like, I will train you, Joshua, to beat Usyk just so I can fight you. And you're watching it like... What's your opinion on like Jake Paul then? as like a pro
That was in
boxer.
my head.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like, so what's your opinion on like the Jake Paul coming in, being as he is now in the boxing world?
Obviously, it helps them with the background they've already got in the world. You know what I mean? Having that media push already helps them get in contact with people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If they were just some average Joe, they wouldn't have even got a second eyelid. So it has helped them massively with the finance they've got. And 100%, all I'd say is don't take it as a joke. Boxing isn't a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Because before they realise it could end up wrong for them.
Yeah.
And they haven't done much in terms of credit, like in terms of earning the respect in it. Fair dues, yeah. But he's getting in the ring. He's sacrificing his life to train. Yeah, he might have the finance and not have to worry about a single penny for the rest of his life. You know what I mean?
He's working just as hard as the average Joe.
If as long as he's working as every hard as the average Joe, then hats off to him for getting in there. Because at the end of the day, he's still getting in there without. You got freaking Keith on the settee going, he's a YouTuber, what's he doing in there? Yeah, but you're sat in your living room with your beer and you're hot pot on your belly, do you know what I mean? Like, you're still going doing the graft, do you know what I mean? Like, he's going doing it, do you know what I mean? So hats off. But obviously, people say it's disrespecting because people that are out there that deserve the opportunity. Yeah, I do. But then I see that they can bring a whole new avenue into it.
Yes.
They can bring a whole new avenue. Obviously, I don't want them to change boxing. Boxing is what it is and where it's come. Do you know what I mean? But they can definitely bring they're bringing a social. They brought now the fact that people on YouTube that probably just watch them for the YouTube videos now are now watching boxing.
Of course. Well,
So
you know that because obviously we were childish.
It's just
like you being dead into like the internet. Like that'll just bring this to the next wave. Like people get so like turned up on the traditional way. Everything has to be as it was.
Yeah.
Well, no, like
things have got to change with society.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And he's gonna come in as long as he's working. Like he's just fought like he's fought like a UFC fucking star and fought well. Why not go for it?
What's your prediction then? Tommy Fury against Jake Paul.
He's got to knock him out.
For
Tommy's sake, he's got to. He's got to. I'm not saying it because he's not worthy of it, Jake Paul. He could go in there and upset and show that, look, guys, I'm a serious boxer. And if he does show it in that way, then so be it. My only thing is I don't think he takes it seriously as a serious boxer. I think he's just taking it as a joke. Like, I can do boxing if I choose to do that. Like, if it was going doing lacrosse, I can do lacrosse because I want to do that. And it's like, no. Boxing wasn't just made for someone to do. It was a way for people to make their life better. And that's how it became such a popular sport because obviously, that's how it was. It was a fighting. It was a poor man's sport originally. Do you know what I mean? And that's what it stemmed from. So you've got to respect it in that way, in terms of the traditional side. If he goes in there and does a number, he'll shock the world. Do you know what I mean?
Imagine that. You just see Tommy Fury. He'd become a meme overnight, wouldn't he?
Then people are going, but it's his experience and this and that. Yeah, He's experienced more Tommy and all that, but he's still fighting. Anyone's got a puncher's chance.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You could have someone that's his first debut going with someone that's a multiple world champion. He could land the right punch once and it's the game and he's won the fight. That's the simple rules of boxing.
Like Joshua Marie's, isn't it? No, everyone mocked him, embarrassed him, and he landed that right hand and straight away.
Yeah.
Joshua knew about it, didn't he?
That's what I mean. Any point in the pace can turn.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I hope Tommy looks at it as now. He doesn't look at him as a YouTuber. He looks at him as a next step of his career.
Yeah.
It's proving now. Like if he wants to make sure that he's that kind of world, well then treat him like that kind of world. Then, and if he comes out and says, "Oh, I'm just a YouTuber," and blah blah blah, then get off your high horse, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like if you wanted to be respected. If you'd have won, you'd be respected. You want to be respected as a boxer.
Yeah.
Now you lost. Now you want to go back to that. It's like no, it's not a game. Do you know what I mean? Like people are serious about this stuff, and people are doing this to change their life.
Yeah.
You're doing it just for the fun of the thing. If you know what I mean? Like no, do it and take it serious at least. Do you know what I mean? And I hope that both of them are doing it, take it serious, and show a good fight. Really bring two industries in and show a good fight. Like he has the TV side as well now with his backing and that, and he has the YouTube side. Could create a lot of revenue.
So clever though.
I reckon it's going to sell well.
It's going to sell,
really
but it's so good for Tommy though. Yeah. America, brand new audience. Like Jake Paul's got 20 million subscribers, something ridiculous like that. The amount of fans that are going to be watching him, and if Tommy goes in, sparks him out in 3 rounds, like he's instantly like a megastar over there overnight. The money that come in, the opportunities that will come in.
100%.
It's very clever, and he's been orchestrating it from years.
It's a no-brainer for both parties, really.
Yeah,
isn't it?
definitely.
But then what if he loses it?
If he loses it,
that's career over, isn't it? It's done.
This is what I'm saying. It's the price you take. It's the price you take. Obviously, it's agreed and it's done with now, and it's being taken as a fight. But it's the price you're taking now, isn't it?
It's a big, especially all the pressure's being put onto him.
Oh yeah, it's more on him than Jay. That's going to be though.
Do you reckon the pressure might get to him though? Like, do you reckon? Because he's fought on the big stage, yeah, but he's never fought at that stage.
I think obviously with the first few fights he's had, he's built his confidence up, but like it's hard to tell with him because he's a very showman. He likes to sell. He sells everything well.
Yeah.
As you know, with his antics with Howard and Mayweather and all, he sells things well. That's just how they've made what they've made. You know what I mean? And become who they come on YouTube because they
Form,
can,
innit?
they can whether people love or hate you.
Yeah.
People still talking about him. Do you know what I mean? And that's the smart thing about it. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. No, news is news. Do you know what I mean? It's still publicising you, and that's how they're smart with how they do it. Do you know what I mean? But for his sake, there's nothing really to lose. If he goes in there and loses against him, they're going to say, well, he's lost against a boxer. What do you expect?
Yeah.
There is more for Tommy to lose. And that's 100%. That's honest. But Tommy's got to go in there and set a statement saying, well, look, this is a different world. I was a different mindset of a person. Yeah, you might have come in and do well at boxing, but I'm a boxer. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I'm a pro. Yeah,
yeah, that's what he's got to make that statement.
My life.
He's got a lot more to lose than he has. Like as you say, Tyson Fury said, if he loses this fight, I'm thinking this.
He's gone.
People probably think he's just joking, but I think he probably there's a hint of genuineness there behind him saying, well, doesn't say he didn't disown him as a family, but he'd probably say, look, hang your gloves up. If you can't beat someone that's been in the sport 2 minutes, yeah, he might have the greatest coaching and that. He's been in the sport 2 minutes. Or make it reasonable to where people think, well, you know what? He shows why he's higher and why he's there. But then I can see why. Do you know what I mean? That's just me being honest. I'd say the same if it was me in the same situation. I'd say, well, right, you got to show why. Do you know what I mean? And that's it.
You've got to make that statement, haven't you? You definitely got to make that statement. So who obviously you've got your dream fights and that.
Yeah.
So when it comes to like, what is that one belt where as soon as you win that, you're gonna think, wow, I've made that.
The green belt, WBC.
As soon as you get that, is that
That's
the one?
That's the one. Yeah, that's the dream belt.
Is that the top? Is that the top?
Yeah, there's a few. There's
a lot of different kinds of.
There's WBC, WBO, WBA. Do you know what I mean? There's a few at the IBF. There's a few world titles. Right. I think it's just the WBC's just had that. It's just got that prestige look in it. Yeah, I mean, everyone just craves it. Obviously, the other ones, I'm not putting them down. They're all world titles.
I win them all.
I want them all. Ideally, I'd love them all in McLaren. Do you know what I mean? That's inevitable. I would love to be the unified champion. Do you know what I mean? That's the goal. Obviously, to get one and then be unified. As you know, every boxer wants it. But if you were to pick one of the belts that I'd want more first, it'd be that one I'd want first. It's just a belt I've always wanted, and it's just set my eyes on it. So we're getting there. It's
just getting there, isn't it? But so who's that one boxer where you're like? Who's the boxer where you say you want to fight him, but if you were opposite the ring with him, would you think, oh shit, I'm in for a hard here? It's obviously going to have to be middleweight, isn't it? It's obviously going to be middleweight, though, isn't it? But
yeah, I must be honest with you. I don't really look at the opponent's back, but the only person that I'd love to be in a ring with, and that's just for the whole experience, and it's mad when you say it, but Canelo.
Imagine having Canelo stood opposite
as much as I'd be shitting a brick. Like, I respect everything he's done. Do you know what I mean? He is pound for pound in my eyes. Like I idolise the guy. Watch him day in day out. And people go, well, hold up, why would you want to fight him? Well, why wouldn't you? It's like watching the best team and you wanting to play him. Like,
of course, yeah.
You want to do to test yourself. You know, if I went in there and I test myself and I think, you know what, I did good steed there against someone at pedigree. Of like, you know, I'm thinking
he's top of the top. He's best of the best.
That's it, isn't it? Imagine if I did beat him. Do you know what I mean? Fucking, what would you class yourself then as? Do you know what I mean? It's I must be worthy. Do you know what I mean? And it's that sense of thinking that's just. And then if you did overtake him and then someone else came up, you're then that target. Do you know what I mean? And that's how it works. It's a process, constant like that. Do you know what I mean? Someone's always dreaming to be at that spot. So, and you just, then it just depends how hungry I stay at that top. Do you know what I mean? And as you know, Canelo, he's proved it multiple times in different weight brackets and going up to light heavy and knocking opponents out that have the top heavyweight contenders, and it's just just shows his pedigree. So for me as a fighter, that would be just the greatest experience in the world, even if you just come out and been pummeled for that many rounds. Just to be experiencing it, do you know what I mean? But yeah, I think that would be definitely one where I stood there. Obviously, the fighter in me would come out, do you know what I mean? Where it wouldn't be like,
of course, but
I'd be stood there looking at the side of me thinking,
Jesus Christ, here we go.
Now it's happening, do you know what I mean? Like, it's right in front of me here, I can see it here now. Yeah. It's not just on the other end of a phone or something, do you know what I mean? Like,
you could kind of see that, do you know, when Joshua versus Usyk, you could kind of see that in Joshua's face when he was stood at it, because he's a calm guy and he's don't break a sweat, he don't give a shit about anything. Yeah. And you could see in that fight when he was looking over the ring at Usyk, he was like, oh dear. Like, you just see, like, Usyk's got that aura about him. I don't know why, but
It's his pedigree though.
Yeah,
Creates it, doesn't it?
He's got an aura about him where he can pick apart anybody. Like, if he was walking down an alleyway and I was walking towards him, I'd turn back and I'd go the wrong way round. I would not go anywhere near him. But like,
Regards of the boxing, he's just a nutter anyway, isn't he? You know what I mean? He's an absolute nutcase to the whole far, but no, yeah, he's an amazing talent to the sport of boxing. The guy is a technician for the size of him and the way he moves. Unbelievable.
He's an athlete, isn't he? He's a proper athlete.
So you know what we're saying about like your dream fight there. So we have a bit of a hypothetical question that we run on this podcast. And I'd love to get your opinion on it because with being a boxer yourself. So we always ask, at what age? So you're going to have to fight Mike Tyson.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
For every year he is old, you get $1 million if you win. But it's between the ages of what?
5 and...
5 and 30.
Yeah. 5 and 30 or 5 and 35.
So when would you fight him? And
So
yeah. So if you fight him at 5, you'll get £1 million, and then every age more you get $1 million more.
Oh God!
But you have to beat him in order to get the million. To get the million, you can't just fight a 30-year-old Mike Tyson and get 30 million. You have to beat him
each year.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
wow.
I said about 8. I think I said I try him at 8, but he was like when he was like 13, he was knocking out grown men.
Yeah, in school. He
Yeah.
was betting it. He used to bet on money in school, saying that, you know, if you can knock me out, you know what I mean, blah blah blah. But if I knock you out, I get this, and he used to bet money, and that's how on the streets he used to bet money to knock people out.
So what age do you reckon you could knock out Mike Tyson?
You don't want to get to near 19 because then you're screwed.
Yeah.
You're screwed. That's when he won the world titles and stuff. That's when you're screwed. So you want to try and get him early days, and then if not, you go later in the years. But later in the years, it was still.
He's a machine. He's a machine now. He's a machine now.
Yeah, he's a machine, and yeah, so. You'd either go really early, like you say. You'd get him at 6, 7. You go early. If you can get him at a young age, you get him at a young age. You know what I mean? We take advantage of that. I was quite a tall 6-year-old, 7-year-old kid, so I think I can use that to my advantage. As soon as we get to
no, you fight him now. You fight him as you are now.
Your age now.
Oh, my age now. Oh, damn right I'd take him at 6. Damn right, my range, yeah. Damn right I'd take him at that age. Probably be bigger than me at that age, but you know, still. Yeah, I'd probably up to like the age of 16. So
16?
That's,
16.
Yeah, because he was a scary 16-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like what I say, street lad. He'd left school then now, so then he's a grown man, and he wasn't a small fella. He had a troubled life. Do you know what I mean? Some things. Obviously, I'm not saying that his life's harder than some of people's lives, you know. But he'd been through some stuff. Do you know what I mean? And it's like
16,
17, yeah. Because he started to turn pro at that point, didn't he? You know what I mean? And was making the rankings of the world, like. Yeah, I'm good at that point, you know. I can be honest and admit, considering his weight bracket and that, I take that point and take it happily before getting destroyed into a different dimension. But yeah, hands down, I'd take a day in his prime. Do you know what I mean? But Lord forbid, hopefully I get out of that ring living and fine. But it's like you say, he's only human at the end of the day.
Yeah, he's got that punch of chance, like you said.
But yeah, if it was to guarantee me the money, definitely I'm doing it in my younger age. I'll take the monies and dip.
8-year-old, we're going for that.
serious, man.
Yeah, quality to be fair. And we have another one about the animals. So what is the largest animal you reckon could beat in a fight?
in their natural habitat.
In their natural habitat, so you're not fighting like a whale on land. We're not having that.
Right.
So yeah, so if you're fighting a whale, you have to fight him in the sea, mate. I think I picked a pig. I reckon I could batter a pig.
What about a boar? Because a boar's a bit more than a pig.
I don't think you could do a pig.
I don't think I can. Yeah. I mean, you said sheep, and I reckon sheep. Yeah, you could have a sheep. My manager at work's like, oh yeah, I'd batter a giraffe, and I was like, yeah, but you won't batter a giraffe.
Yeah, its head's all the way up there, like, kick its leg, it's stuck fucking you know what I mean? Like, you're doomed. Their legs are well strong. Oh god, I don't even know, you know. Probably a goldfish.
I'm just trying to get into the goldfish.
Like Nemo or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, who's the man? No, I don't know. What would I go for? That's actually a good question. Like, because I got to think like, what would it be equal to me? You know what, right? I'd be honest. I felt to say something like a zebra.
A zebra's a good one.
Because it's a bit more than a horse. I think like a horse you could have, but you just stay at the front side of a horse. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't go to the backside.
Yeah.
If you've got a bit of a brain, you know what I mean? If you go to the backside, then you're a bit screwed.
Knackered,
yeah, and also a donkey. But at the front side, boom, have him.
Seen them police horses though?
Yeah, they're big.
They're massive. They're like trucks.
So that's a zebra,
See
innit?
when
Because the
you go
horse
to
is
United.
getting
Yeah, like all the time. Or as soon as I like it when there's trouble at like a like football game, and then as soon as the horses come in, everyone spurt, everyone just shakes it and goes straight away. You're like, I'm not dealing with an horse.
Yeah.
Like, police officers.
I don't know why though, because the horse probably was not even going to do that. He's just thinking what they're doing out with all this stuff. Like, you know, I was in my fucking stable a minute ago, and now I'm out in front of all these geezers piss. Like, do you know what I mean? I bet he's just thinking what the hell's happening. Something at the office.
It's like that Newcastle found that picture of him when he punched that horse. Did you see that? It was a few years ago. It went viral.
Saw him when he rode the horse.
No.
Newcastle fan rode a police horse. I've seen that.
Imagine the balls on that, but yeah, we would not deal with anything like that. Not for me. Not for me. I want to talk a bit about your boxing style though, because I watched your first fight, and the amount of times you switched from southpaw to just like orthodox, and I was like, Jesus Christ! I felt sorry for your opponent because I didn't know whether you were coming or going. To be honest with you, I bet you were opponent.
Slow-mo.
And I was like, straight away, you were switching like every 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Is that what you tend to
I'm a
like
switcher,
to do
yeah,
though?
but I'm like naturally both-handed, so I'm born ambidextrous. Obviously, primarily my right is used for a lot of things. Like if I was just to write on a piece of paper, 9 times of the time, I write with my right hand.
Yeah.
Nine, so you can write with your left hand?
Yeah, I can write with my left. Yeah, like
Yeah.
funnily enough.
My left hand doesn't do anything.
That's
Like,
more
It's not the
impressive than-
cleanest. Like, it's not been done for years, you know what I mean? But when I was at school, like one of the things you do in my exam was I'd be writing my right hand, and when your hands gets a bit tired, on the few exams I actually did, when my hand got a bit tired, I'd just grab my left hand because my writing was that crap with my right hand after a bit. So just write my left. And
that's mental. We've
Your
got
handwriting's with the bow, yeah.
so it's not like my left now, it's not a finger, but then like there's some things that I can only do with my left hand. Like there's a lot more things I can only do. Like, so if I go to grab a glass, I grab it with my left. If I go to open a jar, I open it with my left. And then I was like, well, what hand are you? And I'm like, well, I'm probably primarily right. But then, like, if I look at like more day-to-day things, my left hand I use a lot more than my right. It's just like the general things where the basics like writing and stuff that I use my right hand with, but barring that. But like,
This is going to be the clickbait for this episode.
Man uses both hands. Getting a pro boxer on. He's won how many titles in his career, and he goes, "Oh my God, you can write with both hands."
yeah, it's a bit rusty now with my left, but if I give it a good few months, I could probably fully write with it, no problem. Okay.
I like how impressed we are at that.
Simple things, innit?
Yeah. So is that what you do it for then when you switch it up? Are you doing it
So,
to try
yeah,
and just
obviously,
keep
like-
guessing?
People say, well, what's your power hand? Like, I can throw my backhand and my left the same way as my right. Like, they're very two different shots though, what I throw, do you know what I mean? So, like, it depends what shot I'm throwing, really. So, I just use it to my advantage, like, if you can use and switch and feel comfortable in both, then so.
Yeah, of course,
definitely.
right as well. Why not?
Like I say, over the years, like when I first started, it used to just be right-handed, you know what I mean? It's just neglect my left, and then it was like I didn't instant. I've said an injury, come back from it, I had to just use the other way around, and then it was just like, well, I feel comfortable in this, and then it was a bit weird going back to my right, do you know what I mean? And then it was like, well, now I've just got to kind of balance it, and that's all I did was just balance it. And if I can come at you with two different angles, and I've got ahead of someone already that's only got one angle, do you know what I mean? And I just think about that being a step ahead kind of thing. So yeah, just don't neglect it, just embrace it a little bit.
Just take it there. Don't matter what hand you knock him out with, as long as you get the job done, really, innit?
Yeah, serious.
Would you say you're like, is your style more of like a knockout artist type thing?
I'm terrible at explaining myself, to be honest. I ain't gonna lie. Like,
It's hard like that, though, isn't it? Because
Yeah,
you spend so much time. I bet if we asked your dad, he would have a complete. He'd
he'd probably say it down to a T.
Yeah, he'd have a completely different answer to what you think. I bet.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm a knockout artist. I'm more of a technician. I break them down slowly.
yeah.
So I can say I pick the spots, look just for the weaknesses, and then break them down. And then if the stoppage comes from that, it's because of it. There's only been a few times I've gone in there and just like knocked them clean out.
Right.
Like, what I mean, like I've done a few where it's been like, you know,
Hello.
even myself. No, people think, oh, what's it like knocking out someone? They get gassed at the thought of knocking someone out. Like, yeah, it's a great gas feeling. You'll get gassed to think about it, but when it actually happens, I guarantee 9 times of people, you will not get gassed after it.
Yeah.
If you do, it's generally because you've had blood with them or you're just a nutcase.
Yeah.
Like, one of the two. Like every time that I've knocked someone out, like I've been more of a worry because at the end of the day, in my head, like, yeah, I've gone in there, I'm doing my job and I'm fighting, and it's the fight or flight life. But at the end of the day, like, he had a home as well. He's got a family to go
he
to.
does, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And he's sacrificed his life, and it sounds a bit mad, and like people go, what? But like when you knock someone out, there's a potential that they could die. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that thought on your mind for the rest of your life can ruin some people. It's happened to boxers, you know what I mean, and ruin their life and career. So for me, like the first thing I think is, well, respect and hope that they can get up from that thing. If they want some up and finger, enjoy your celebration. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, be respectful in the way you enjoy it, but you know, enjoy your moment. Do you know what I mean? And vice versa. If it was the other way around,
You want your opponent to that same too.
just be respectful. Do you know what I mean? They've gone in there. Do you know what I mean? And that your punch could be the last breath they took.
Yeah.
And when you think of it like, people go, what? Like, it's like, well,
Yeah.
like it's not a game. It's not, you're not just going in there losing. You know, I know it's not to put it down, but like, it's like if you was playing chess, you lost a game, right? Yeah, but you're still here to live another day. You're still here to see another chess piece. Where boxing, you could go in there, and there's a few boxers as you've seen. There was a clip not long ago. Can't remember his name now. There was a boxer, perfect fine, come out now. He's mentally, not capable now anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Wheelchair. He has to have people assisting him just from a knockout. And it's like anything can happen in your life and change at any moment.
Just
You
that
know what I
one
mean? And
punch,
that's why I think boxing as well. People try and make millions out of it because you never know at that point where someone's going to come to you and say, this could be your last one.
Yeah, definitely.
Though, yeah, damn right. I worked out before. It's not a long career boxing.
Yeah.
You don't see many boxers past 40.
No, yeah,
But
definitely.
you think about people that work in Tesco, they work to Tesco till they're 70, 65, 70, do you know what I mean? It's like, you've got to try and do your stuff before, it's too late, and then as you get older, things start to go, and that's when your risks start to happen, don't they, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
where do you see yourself going then? Do you want to go into because obviously a lot of them go into media, don't they? That's usually the trajectory you go to, so all you big fighters kind of move up through there. So is that what, do you want to go into that media world, or?
my goals are retire at 35 and just go and live a life. Like,
Yeah.
As soon as I've done and turn the page and say, look, now this chapter's done, and now it's enjoying my life. Go and enjoy it, and then maybe come back into the boxing world and be a pundit, media side. Maybe pass on the knowledge, like how Roy Jones does with his now. He passes the knowledge on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd probably still be influenced in it because that's just my lifestyle.
It's your life, You've grown up with it.
I've grown up with it. It's like with football. If you was a footballer and then you left football and retired, and then it's me, you got the call up to be the manager of your team. Do you know what I mean? The perfect example, United, obviously. It's just you're in that lifestyle. It's what you've always known, so you're giving back to it. Do you know what I mean? And that's what it would be in my mind. But first thing I'm going to do once I hopefully, God willing, I've made my money and enjoying my life is go and enjoy it fully. Go and enjoy it.
So you wouldn't have the ambition to go down the Ricky Hatton style route where he's gone open his own gym and stuff like that?
I probably would open my own gym.
Yeah.
Probably would open my own gym, but I'd probably just enjoy the first couple of years. Even if I opened my own gym and wasn't there.
Yeah.
Because obviously people are attracted to name.
Have your name on it.
People go to Ricky Hatton's gym because it's Ricky Hatton's gym.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you know
what I mean? If it was just Joe Blogg's gym down the corner, you go, who the hell's Joe Bloggs? Do you know what I mean? But it's Ricky Hatton, you respect it because there's someone there with pedigree, knowledge of pedigree and stuff. Do you know what I mean? And I've been to Ricky Hatton's gym and inspired a couple of lads there. Do you know what I mean? I've seen one of them on the weekend. A lovely lad, Bradley Ray, up and coming talent, matchroom boxing. He's great talent to boxing. Do you know what I mean? Inspired of him plenty of time. So you know what I mean? You go for there for reasons. You know what I mean? But for me, once I've done that point, enjoy for a bit. Just finally, and it sounds a bit wrong, but the great words of Thanos, my work is done. and then
go and do your farming on another planet.
Serious, and then go into the next chapter, which would then be passing on my experience and knowledge, hopefully, and which would be able to be respected and giving back to the community and world and boxing, and hopefully then try and make it progress even more. And
of course. Yeah.
That's just how I see things. You know what I mean? But hopefully, God willing.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Wait, what's your opinion? Because we're to be fair, I'm enjoying this, but the time's getting a bit long. But yeah, so what on like the Campbell Hatton sort of side of it?
Yeah.
So obviously you're starting off. Campbell's got that massive push on him because of his dad. Like you don't go
it's
about
inevitable.
it.
As much as people say, oh no, he's probably. No, it does help him a little bit having the second name. Do you know what I mean? If someone it's like Ronaldo with his kid.
Yeah, of course.
Watch to a team, it's fucking Ronaldo's son. Do you know what I mean? Of course he's going to get.
Of course he's going to walk straight in somewhere.
He couldn't be able to cross his legs, but he's going to get game time because it's Ronaldo. That happens. You know what I mean? That happens in all industries.
Like Tommy as well, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He with him going on Love Island, that definitely helped him as well.
Definitely.
But like someone like Campbell, he's gone straight in there. But obviously, you're going to have to start. Well, you've had a little bit of a boost because of your dad, obviously, coaching you.
Yeah.
But like, how do you think it kind of differs in like the career aspect of it? Like, would you prefer to maybe have that head start like Campbell does, or are you happy starting from scratch and working your way up?
Me personally, I'm the mindset of earn your stripes.
Yeah.
Earn your stripes. Show reasons why you deserve to be there. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be there because he has got a talent to boxing. I just think obviously, like I'd say, he's got a lot to learn in terms of boxing, and he'll probably admit himself he's still learning on job.
Yeah.
That can happen. There's boxers that I've learned on job. Like look at Conor Ben.
Yeah, true.
Great talent. Look at him now. Do you know what I mean? But he's just learned on job. Some people can do it really well on the point. Some people can't. It's just it's just the way it is. That's just life. Me personally, I'd prefer to earn my stripes. Beat the people I need to beat, and then when people go, well, load up, this kid has actually done everyone, do you know what I mean? Like, he deserves that spot.
Yeah.
And then show why I've deserved that spot, hopefully then win, and then proving, do you know what I mean? And then going from there on. If that takes a year, it takes a year. If it takes 2 years, it takes 2 years. If it takes 5 years, it takes 5 years. But you prove your spot, do you know what I mean? And
you're there, yeah.
You know, if you believe in your ability and you know you're at that point, damn right, do you know what I mean? Go for it. 100% you have every right to. And I'd say that if it was someone coming up and against, you know, like say for example, a couple of years' time, someone challenging for my spot, and you say, no, well, I've earned my stripes, damn right, then let's get it on. Do you know what I mean? I've now got to show why I'm higher than you and vice versa, do you know what I mean? And that's the way it is. That's competition. You should enjoy that. That's what makes you want to go. If you don't enjoy that thought of competition, of beating someone and getting higher than them and being at the top, then I tell you now, take your gloves off and strap them up. Do you know what I mean?
Of course, there's no point carrying on.
No point carrying on.
Yeah.
I've always episode. This has been the best episode we've had, definitely.
I think so.
Yeah, massive thanks coming on, mate.
Man,
yeah, it's been so insightful to just learn about a completely different world.
Definitely.
What do you want to shout out, mate? Where can we find you?
All my socials. So primarily my main socials, obviously, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat's just the usual one. That's just the thing going in it. But yeah, obviously my Instagram is _LRJC. Just simple, nice and easy. My initials.
Yeah, it's gonna be down in the description anyway. We always pop that in there.
Yeah, and then I do have a fight page on Facebook, Leyton Collymore. Just put that in, it comes up. Do use it, but Facebook, as we know, is Instagram's the main platform at the moment. You know what I mean? We shouldn't neglect them, but Facebook's one of them following people following through that because you've already got your fingers. You know what I mean? But Instagram for up and coming, it's one to attack on. So yeah, my Instagram's my main one that I use if you want to keep up to date with it on there. And then also just shout out all my sponsors, really, so every one of them. So Refuel, DJs for You, Kyle Housey Photography, Hashing Barbers, I'm going to have to go through them all now. CBD Hood, there's another one. I've done there 5, haven't I? Or Hydro Wheels and Tyres.
Yes.
There's another one at Garage, you know what I mean? That I work with, you know what I mean? Great, well-known garage. Hit them up. It's simple, just type in the name Hydro Wheels and Tyres.
Yeah.
If you're unsure, look on my sponsorship on my clothing, you'll see it always. And then all the other little sponsors that I have as well, families and friends that have supported, you know what I mean? Whether it's just paying towards kit and paying towards buying a pair of boxing boots, you know what I mean? Like, shout out to them as well, because they without them,
without them you wouldn't be here.
Wouldn't have maybe to make my debut, or I wouldn't have been able to have the kit that I have. Do you know what I mean? Or little things like that. So massive appreciative of every one of them supporting me on this journey, and hopefully,
of course,
be able to pay them all back properly and in the long run,
and get that world championship, and then you'll get people coming back to this podcast being like, "Here we go."
This Ray told his story.
This where the story started.
I'm sure you'll do many more kind of moving forward as well.
You've got a fight coming up as well, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
12th of December, AJ Bell Stadium. It's a Sunday, which is a bit weird.
Is that Manchester way?
Yeah, it's Salford Red Devils.
Right.
Yeah. I've been AJ Bell loads of times. Yeah. Just off the motorway.
Yeah, it's over the road from Trafford Centre.
Yeah.
So I said to people, they go, where is it? Over the road to Trafford Centre. Everyone knows where Trafford Centre is.
Yeah.
It's over the road from there, probably about a mile if that. It's in the AJ Bell Stadium, 12th of December. Downfall is it's limited tickets at the moment because it's smaller venues, limited tickets, limited numbers fighters. You know what I mean? So obviously we're still getting over the pandemic stuff. So limited numbers, but anybody inquiring tickets, feel free to direct message me or direct message the gym page, Northside Boxing Gym. We can have the tickets in the gym as well, and then if not, contact family members. My family members are all over my Instagram. Just drop them a message.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just drop them a message saying, look, Leyton's got tickets for this kind of thing. Because obviously sometimes, we have a lot of messages and stuff. We miss some things, you know what I mean? And people go, message, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I had to message such a person. Like, apologise, I missed some things, just the way it is, you know what I mean? But I always try and get back. But any information, just drop a message.
Yeah, of course.
Anytime.
Do you have any more questions, Dan?
I'm done.
Yeah, I'm nice and done. So that was the episode, guys. Make sure you head down below in our socials as well. Make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Yeah.
We will be back next week. Massive thanks for coming on again, mate.
Anytime, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and best of luck. I'm sure we're going to be seeing you on the Matchroom kind of boxing. We'll be there.
We'll be there.
Hopefully, yeah.
Hey, when you got your belts, when you're there, we do WBC, you'll clip that, put it all over your socials. This is where I said it. Straight back.
Could have your logo somewhere. Do you know what I mean? I'll be out on there seeing you. You know.
Hey, mate, if you want to sponsor.
We could always work. That's what I'm saying.
Apple, mate, I'm not even joking. We will happily put two. Don't you worry about that, mate.
That's what I'm saying. It's all helping everyone at the stage because it's these little things that help boxers. They don't realise. People think that boxing, we just go in there, we fight, and that's how we get rep. No, it's not. It's the people that help and support. It's the people that buy the tickets. You know, early day careers, you're fighting, especially if you want to be a prospect, your fights are made from ticket sales.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's how we pay for the things. We don't even really get a wage from it. We just have to pay for things. You know, your opponent, promoter, coaches, and before you know it, you end up with pennies left, and it's like, well, I've not even made a muffin, and I've had to sacrifice all this, but that's what they have to do. So people that are helping on that road, it goes a lot. Do you know what I mean? It goes a lot. It could be a little list of just giving them. It sounds mad, but 50 quid a month. Yeah. People go, well, that's nothing, really. It's like that's 2 takeaways. You know what I mean? In a month. Do you know what I mean?
Chinese.
For some boxers, that could be the matter of them being able to train more and not train. Oh, do you know what I mean? And people don't realise that. Do you know what I mean? But then, obviously, you know, it depends on the people themselves. You know, it's giving them back that thank you. Do you know what I mean? That's what a lot of people they worry about, is that thank you back. Am I going to get that appreciation? And if they don't, then that's them down to them as a person. But the sponsors and support is 100%. People coming, just buying your ticket and supporting you, and just coming to the fight. A lot of shows don't notice people. A lot of talented fighters, because sometimes they just can't sell a ticket. Do you know what I mean? And it's sad, because it's like they could have the best talent in the world and be the next pound for pound world beater. Do you know what I mean? But they just couldn't sell more than 100 tickets or 50 tickets. So we're just not going to look at them, because they're not helping their pocket, and it's a shame. So if obviously, you know, people have finances and, you know, can't think of it, but if you can support and genuinely, even if it's the littlest thing of just commenting on the post and sharing the post, it costs nothing. Do you know what I mean? Most 9 times of people have a phone. Do you know what I mean? You've got social media, just that little bit of a comment, likes, share, and look, just being there for them. Do you know what I mean? You don't even have to buy a ticket to every single fight. Do you know what I mean? But that little bit, you could have 100 more people that they don't have on theirs, and maybe even just 10 of them people could just get in contact and buy a ticket because they've been interested in the sport. But it's 10 more people that have helped supporting the person, and then before you know it, in a year time, they could be on a world level, do you know what I mean, or challenging British level of fighting, and you, that person there that was close and helped supported them, could have, you know, help us support, you know, have a nice, easier life. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that you put them in, like, it's like an investment.
Yeah, of course, yeah,
people
definitely.
investing in you. And then giving your time and effort, and like little things like this, you know what I mean? Where it's podcasts, you know, it's time and effort. People are understanding people and hearing the story, and it creates more of a connection. It all helps in the long run, and it's all appreciated massively.
100%, yeah, definitely. Yeah, but again, thanks for coming on, mate, and we'll be there supporting you at all times. Don't worry about that. So yeah, make sure you head over, show him some love, definitely in pages. We shall see you again next week, guys.
See you next week.
Thanks.